Yes.
Ready? All right, call to order the Board of Library Trustees Committee, the whole meeting for Monday, October 4th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bella is absent. Trustee Meta.
Here.
Trustee Rule is currently absent. Trustee Smart.
Here.
Trustee Samari. Here. Trustee Suplet.
Here.
President Sick.
Here. Any public comments? None. We'll move on to number one, item one, the maker space, maker place update.
Okay, I'd like to invite Jack Bauer, our digital services manager, to the table to talk a little bit about the first.
Hi, Jack.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. So I'm Jack Bauer, the digital services manager and the Makerplace is part of digital services here at the library. Our Makerspace assistant branch manager, Chris Kruger, that you all know, normally he would probably give you an update like this, but actually Mondays and Fridays are his weekends this month. All of the full-time Makerplace staff are working every day that it's open for the first month. So they're there on the weekends, as well as Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right, so we've officially been open for 2 weeks in September. So in that time, I'm just going to kind of give a little snapshot of what we've done and happy to answer any questions. We started off with giving staff tours. I tallied it up. We gave staff tours to 100 staff over 14 sessions. Then the first public tour was the Saturday neighborhood tours, where we had 56 people in attendance. On Sunday, the grand opening, we had a very large crowd and we gave tours to 487 people. So that's really happy with that number. Let's see here. So far in September, we've had about 400 waivers signed. So that's 400 individuals who are intending to use the space. We're seeing about 50 to 70 users per day. And generally the feedback is really, really positive. And a lot of people are just kind of stopping in for the first time, just getting acclimated to the space, kind of figuring out what they might do to come back with more projects later on. Let's see what else. So we've started the first 2 weeks with just more tours, and we're starting to actually do programs this week. I'll talk about those in a second, but we had 57 scheduled tour participants. In addition to that, we've had 37 additional Makerplace visitor drop-in tours. So kind of to give an example, our weekends are some of the more popular times so far, kind of not surprisingly. So within an hour period on Saturday, we had someone laser etching their college logo on a pint glass, a couple making custom pins with the button maker, someone drilling sea glass to make jewelry, a quilter using our long arm quilting machine to experiment with designs, and someone laying out and cutting fabric to make a skirt. Now, you'll see some pictures probably in our board report that's coming at the next board meeting, so we'll go into a little more detail about kind of the cool highlights. The more popular areas so far are the sewing area. We've had Etsy store owners working on projects, several people making clothes, as I mentioned, middle schoolers making pillows. Actually, there was a group of kids that were at the park after school. They came into the Makerplace. They all thought they were going to use, stereotyping them, but the fabrication room. But they wanted to use the sewing, and they all walked out with some pillows. And also quilting, of course, is very popular. The fabrication room is also the other unsurprisingly popular space. There's a lot of people that are actually using the 3D scanner. I don't think that's something as often offered at other maker spaces. So people are taking advantage of using that scanner to bring in their objects to render. Many people are making clothes, as I mentioned. The laser engraving is also very popular. People are making coasters, pint glasses, signs, boards. Then also 3D printing is very popular. We've had well over our double monthly printouts with 42 in September, which is very good. And yeah, I think our busiest time so far, and it's kind of gradually getting busier. So Sunday was the busiest. Within the first hour, we had 30 people in the building. Some of them were there for a tour, but that was a pretty, it definitely felt busy on Sunday. So coming up this week, we have a program. So we're starting out with the Makerplace Essentials programs, kind of on each of the different types of equipment, just to get people oriented who might not know how to use it so they can start using the space independently on their own. So on Tuesday, we have makerspace sewing essentials. Wednesday, we have vinyl cutting essentials. We have 2 sessions of making garden teas with indigenous wisdom on Thursday. That's part of the One Book, One Village initiative. And on Saturday, we have laser cutting essentials that we're offering. So those are the upcoming programs. It's pretty exciting. We started out with just the tours, and now we're finally going to be able to get people in there to teach and get them exposed to new things.
Where are we at on the kitchen?
As far as certification or?
Certification, operational, is the food working? Are we allowed to use it? Where are we
Yeah.
at?
So the electrician has been out, I think he was out either he was out today or he's coming back tomorrow to finish the hookup of the fire alarm system with the hood. So there were some things that we had to adjust for that. Once we get that done, then we'll have final inspection on everything. We should be good to go with that.
And then we're going through the certification process with the village
Yeah.
also?
Chris has been working with was it the health department?
Yeah.
On that?
Okay.
Any questions, trustees?
Well, we'll share some more for the board report. Please stop in. We're happy to kind of show you around anytime.
Is it mostly been individuals that have come in, or have we seen businesses also coming in? approaching us?
You know, it's definitely more individual so far. That's what it seems. I know there are several people who have been in for business. You know, this is coming more secondhand for me, but I generally do see it seems like more individuals coming in.
And outside of Arlington Heights, so we've been, I know.
It doesn't seem like that many yet,
Okay.
as far as I can tell. I could probably give you a little bit more information on that, looking at the waivers, which of those are tied to library cards or which of them are reciprocal borrowers. Off the top of my head, I don't have that right now.
How's parking?
Parking's been totally fine. We're all very cautious, staff parking like not in the back lot and, you know, making sure we're not crowding up the street parking or anything like that. And it really seems to be totally fine. I guess I should ask Chris about how it was on Sunday. Like you mentioned, 30 people in the hour is kind of the most outside of course, our big grand opening events and stuff that we've seen kind of with regular use. So
What time on Sunday was the busiest?
I think it was right at the beginning. I think right when we opened it, 12.
I was gonna ask, have you done any outreach, or is it sort of in the plan in the next couple months to schools? Only, the reason I'm asking is because whenever my kids had those crafty things to do, and like even in high school chemistry, there's a thing that they do. I didn't really know how to do it, and it would be a perfect thing to know. I mean, it sounds stupid, but they have to make a mold for chemistry and like out of fabric and stuff. For someone that doesn't know how to sew, that was always very hard.
We have been talking with the schools. In fact, I gave a tour to Lori Bonning from the school district 25, along with one of her staff that were engaging. In fact, she left a voicemail.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, even 214, it seems silly that you would go that high, but actually a lot of kids that age and moms like me don't know how to do stuff, so.
Maker space specialist Kate Henry actually came, worked in the hub before, and they did a ton of outreach in the hub, and so
Yeah.
she's really excited for
sure
those
yeah.
specifically. But yeah, you know, we weren't going too full into outreach before we
you're still
open, but no, for
getting-
sure in the next coming weeks and months, that is something we're going to be focusing more attention on.
Anybody else? All right, thank you very much for the update.
Thank you, everyone. Next night.
Okay, let's move on to item 2, the Miller picking unit replacement, homework detail.
Okay, so let me give you guys a formal memo on the Miller picking unit, the capital project that's was planned for 2021. As we were scheduling the installation, we had heard from the manufacturer that they're having supply chain issues, and they have now rescheduled us to January of 2022. Being that January is not a great time to have the HVAC unit down for that side of the building, we worked with them to reschedule the project for March of 2022. So you'll see in the budget that we have moved those capital funds, well, actually, we added the capital funds to the 2022 budget. It is still in the 2021 budget at $1 million. So we'll be under expended by $1 million. And then for 2022, I budgeted the actual contract amount for 997,370.
Is there anything that we need to do to remove it from this budget so it doesn't look like we're double budgeting?
Yes, we can do a budget amendment for 2021 to remove it from the budget and move it to 2022.
We probably should. If everybody else is good with that, let's just do this is outright in press release and that.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Okay. Move along to item 3, review the proposed budget for 2022.
Okay. So you have in front of you a second draft of the budget. I'll go over just a couple of changes that are included in this, this change or in this draft. Looking at the first page of the memo, just to highlight a few things. Line E, the capital project fund expenditure budget, that includes the Miller picking unit for 2022. So as you can see, that increased almost $1 million, just under $1 million. Then on the next page, about middle of the page in revenue projections, as we talked about at our last committee, the whole meeting, our PPRT, because of the PPRT funds that was credited to the library in the amount of $460,000, that was to be used toward an ERP system. Talked to Randy, and they have selected an ERP system, and the village has selected one that is below the budgeted amount. So we will be receiving credit this year in the amount of $108,996. So that comes in under that 460 that we had set as a ceiling.
Nice.
And if you look at the second to last page, I just added a little blurb here about the Miller picking unit, and just that it has been rescheduled for spring of 2022. I'll also make a note here that the budget will be amended for 2021.
Mike, do me a favor, number your pages.
Yep. I see the error of my ways as I'm going through this.
Nothing else is changing, no FTE is changing.
No, I have a couple minor changes that we'll go through in the budget summary here. Nothing too significant. Just on page 1, looking at the budget summary, the total personnel services is down about $7,000 from what was originally anticipated. That was removed some money that I had put into one of the lines for potential changes. Then total contracts, commodities, others, and property is up about $20,000. And I'll go into the details of what all of that is. One of the more significant things in there is an upgrade to the internet line here at the main library. Right now, we have a Comcast coax line coming here. It's 1 gig down, but only 40 meg up. So it's really more of a, it's really more for browsing and stuff like that. Now that we've tacked on the makerspace, and we have the senior center that have VPN tunnels connected to our library, we're starting to see the crunch on that upload speed. So we're changing to a business grade or commercial grade fiber optic line. And so that was a $14,000 a year commitment. Our IT manager was able to absorb about $7,000 of that into his budget by trimming some other things. And then, so 7,000 of that is that line. And then we'll go through what the other things are. And then at the beginning fund balance in the capital projects fund, you'll see is a little bit higher than what you saw last time. That's because of that $1 million that's held off for that additional year. So page 2, the salaries line, right at the top there is $10,000. That was at $25,000. Now that I'm getting a little bit more finalized in plans for the administrative direction for some of those positions, that has come down to $15,000. Looking at everything else as I'm going through here has remained the same. If you look at page 7, on the internet access line, you'll see that jumped up to $15,403. That is that increased bandwidth for the internet line. And then you see the negatives there. That's to offset half of that, that line cost. Then on page 9, in building maintenance, facility building maintenance, line 2111. That is for carpet replacement for collection services. There's some areas back there that still have the original carpet that we'd like to change out. And it's a couple of offices. So added $10,000 for that. And then down in the capital line, they moved $997,370 to 2022 add-ons for the replacement of the Miller picking unit.
Okay.
Okay, and on page 10, transferred some money, $1,500 from the contracted programs and $3,000 from program events from the youth services line to our makerspace line. And that is to account for things happening over at the makerspace programs, youth sponsored programs that are happening at the makerspace. So our youth manager, their youth services manager, put together an estimate as to what they think they'll be doing over there this next year. So that may fluctuate from year to year going forward, but really what we're trying to do is have a full picture of all of those costs in our 6480 or our makerspace line.
So we're gonna have to manage the budget for two places, correct, and things like that for here and over for the next place.
Correct, right. They have access, they'll have their line. So basically, they know they have $1,500 in their 2218 line to use for makerspace projects or for makerspace programs, and then same thing, 3,032 for presenters or whatever.
Thank you.
So it's really the only way that we can capture everything that's going on in the makerspace to be able to report back our costs up there. Then on page 13, in the salary line, there's an add-on for $4,300. That's for a 5-hour sub position for the public service point over there. That is for the senior center. So they had no sub hours, and they're looking for ways to be able to cover that service desk when staff or volunteers are not available. So give them a 5-hour sub. And on the next page, page 14, there's $13,200 that's being transferred to the makerspace. This was in the programs budget for makerspace kitchen programming. And so that's being transferred over to be consistent with everything else that we're doing over there. And then page 17, the last page, that is makerspace line. So the only addition that we talked about those transfers in, I did add $4,000 for snow removal over there. We are looking to contract with the village. Since they did the snow removal over there before, they gave us a very good rate to clear the parking lot and salt and everything. So that's an estimate based on previous snowfalls in the last few years.
And again, just so I understand, this new fund, new in the past couple of years, say, this money came from other programs primarily, or came from other departments.
Some of it, yeah. Other stuff was added. So essentially, this is like a mini budget for that Belmont project.
Right, but nothing's double counted, because if it's here, it's not here, even though one of these departments might help manage it.
Correct, right. It exists only in this place.
Correct, okay.
So those are all the changes since last draft.
Oh, it's page 16. It's not a change, it's 12,300 professional services. Collection services, page 16.
Oh, yeah. So that is an internal transfer that is going from books to their processing services. And this is, well, part of it is going there. $10,087 is going there to cover the collection HQ software that Lisa talked about at the last board.
Right.
All right, very good. Any more questions on that? So it is next month, we're doing the final, or next week, we should do the final vote, correct? That is correct. Okay, so we're gonna, why don't you go with the next, let's go with the next part first.
Well, you're gonna make the amendment for Or you're gonna draft the amendment for when we meet next time to move the Miller picking unit to 2022.
So to remove it out, but it's going to be into the budget. Right. Into the budget, so we'll do that.
You want me to remove the $1 million from 2021 line?
Yeah, let's just clean it out. So when we're looking at what the funds are going to look like at the end of the year, it's all nice and taken care of.
Got it.
Okay, let's go on to item 4, review of the proposed 2021 tax levy. Actually, before you say that, actually, I don't want to. So we're going to be voting on this on 2 weeks, okay? And that's going to be that's going to be the final vote. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the tax levy here and what that decision is going to be made. But you all saw the long range fiscal plan. So it's all kind of tied together. You know where we're going to be. So this is going to be. That is going to be the final vote. So any questions that you have or any thoughts that you have within those next 2 weeks, you'll obviously come up with them. And at that point, that's when we're gonna make a final determination on this. This was an important meeting tonight. This is the reason why we wanted to have it, because we needed to make sure that everybody had heard the last few details of what was going on with this. So I'm sorry.
Okay. Item 4?
Yep, right.
Okay, so what we have before you is our proposed 2021 tax levy. So this is what we send to the village to say this is how much we're levying for taxes. This truth in taxation calculation is based on a 0% tax levy, as we spoke about previously. So this would be a proposed levy of $14,680,922, which is the same as the extended 2020 levy, which is it includes the 1% loss cost tax. Do you guys have questions on this? Or do you want to look at the long range plan?
Let's talk about the long range plan.
Okay, so if you look at the long range plan at this document, this is what our funds look like over a 5-year projection to 2027. The only change really that we see in here is that $1 million moving from 2021 to 2022. With also the other small changes, but as you can see toward the end there, when we get to 26 and 27, our fund balance, line S, our general fund balance, and line, let's see, actually U would probably be the one you want to look at. The total fund balance remaining 35% at 2027, and that's estimating 0% tax levy through 2027.
What is the recommended range to be in?
Our policy states that we should be between, I want to say 33, it should be in one of these.
Between 33 and 75.
Oh, I see.
33, 100, and 75%.
Right. So obviously, you know, and they tease me, I always pay attention so much that you know, it goes down to 35 in 2027. We're doing some pretty incredible things, you know, being able to do all these different things and also keep this tax levy at 0. So that's just awesome what the staff and everybody has done. You know, you always got to keep this in mind. You know, I don't have any. I'm just saying I don't have any problems with staying with the 0% tax levy at this specific time. But obviously, that's something we have to look at every single year. Exactly what we're doing. Does anybody have any qualms or any concerns over that at this point? Any questions?
No, but and I also think that, you know, in the next year or two, we might have a better indication of what the 3rd largest taxpayer in Arlington Heights, what's happening with that land. So,
Yeah, right.
I mean, that could be great for us or not, depending on what happens, but yeah, that would be helpful.
I was just thinking actually the memorandum that we always give.
Yes, that is our budget narrative.
Yeah, the budget narrative. That's what's called. So this is what's given to the board, you know, to the village board as whenever we go in. And the other thing I was thinking, do you think we should, under, you know, the library governance and staff, you know, you talk about the regular meeting every 3rd Tuesday, should we just include the cow in there, how the cow schedule, the whole schedule? Sure. The original Monday, the first Monday of the month, just so. Yeah.
Is this put on the website after it's presented? Because it's such a great, like, it really should almost be highlighted, and maybe it is every year, but I just think that, you know, as I talk to different people who all use the library and love the library, but they don't, I mean, who uses it to the fullest extent, right? So I just think for people to see, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did all that.
Mike, we're still doing that annual report, right? And putting that online too, or did we not do that during COVID?
We didn't do it during COVID.
So we'll do it this year
We'll
probably?
probably do it this year, yeah.
So we do also an annual report that highlights all this, and this gets put on our website, so.
Yeah,
I'll see you.
I mean, I know when I did research to run, that I looked at all that stuff, but gosh, I'd love for people to see it even more.
Yeah, so with the narrative, we did trim some of the detail, like in the Library of Things, previous versions, we had listed all the different types of things in the Library of Things. Now we kind of trimmed it down to general topics. Or a few other things updated. There was one thing that we may update, and that is the summer reading numbers. I don't know that we had final numbers on that. Is that what that was? But other than that, if you guys see anything that you'd like to have included in here or anything like that, please let me know.
Do you have the soldier exhibit included? That might be,
That's my last three.
oh,
Yeah, this is for the last year.
okay.
Yeah, I know it always
Yeah, okay, yeah,
They were all here.
yeah.
I'm looking for things as executive reports sometimes, and I'm kind of like, oh, that was this month, it wasn't the
Yeah,
previous
yeah.
month.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm always mentioning, but right, that one, this one. Okay, very good. Any questions on that? Okay, so I guess we're just going into other, I don't know if you guys saw, Carol, I think this is what you were looking for, the Friday packet. Got a chance to see it. They had sent the hoopla report.
Oh, right, yeah. Mhm.
And I think that's what you were looking for.
Yeah, well, no, I just brought that out, because of something
Cool.
Yeah,
John brought out that I was aware of this report and
Yeah.
thought the
Yeah.
board would like to see that.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, what it would have cost to
Yeah.
purchase everything as
Yeah.
opposed to the services through
Right.
Midwest tape.
Sure. Yeah, I thought one of the interesting things on here was when they talked about the most popular time was 9 p.m. on Mondays.
people getting organized, getting their readings set for the week, right?
That just,
It is funny though.
that blew me away. on
Because they
that.
blew up their weekend.
Yeah,
They
right,
had to catch
they were
up.
supposed to, they were supposed to do it
Are you
Sunday
speaking
night,
from
but they
experience?
forgot.
I'm a mom. I-
Right, absolutely.
That's a funny thing.
Okay, good report. That's really interesting to see. Any other? All right. If we have a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Wow.
We're done. That was a
That's the
record one.
fastest meeting I've been to.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, and they
Well
always
done.
surprise you.